Hello everyone, how is your day going? In today's presentation, we are going to discuss some credit card tips for young adults and newcomers to any country. I will explain what a credit card is and how you can use a credit card for free while at the same time you build a good or even an excellent credit history. Before we get started, I want to appeal to you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share my videos to your friends and families so that they can also benefit from the financial education that we are sharing together. Now let's get started. What is a credit card? Simply put, a credit card is a payment card which gives you the ability to buy goods and services now and pay later. But we must bear in mind that when you use a credit card for payment, you are using your bank's money or a loan with a limit that is approved for you, with a promise that you will pay later. That's simply what a credit card is. Now let's see, how does a credit card work? Same thing like you use cash, but in the case of credit card, it is very convenient. You swipe your card, you pay for that goods and service, bearing in mind that it's not your money, you are using the bank's money, and you have an obligation to pay back that loan in the future. Now, let us discuss some credit card tips that can help us to build a good or an excellent credit card, an excellent credit history. Number one, get a credit card as soon as you turn 18 or upon your arrival to a new country as a newcomer. I will also add that for our young ones, you must ask yourself, even though you've turned 18, you must ask yourself if you are ready and you have that discipline to pay back the loan which the bank has provided for you. Then the next question is, why 18? What is magical about the age 18? Technically, that's when you are an adult. In most countries, that's the minimum age that most financial institutions will approve you for a credit card. And then, as a newcomer, why should you get a credit card upon arrival? You should get a credit card upon arrival because at that point you have no credit history. Tip number 2, start with a small credit limit. I usually will recommend $500 or $1,000. So $500 for a student or $1,000. Same applies to newcomers to any country. You could also use a secured credit card. What that means is, if you are taking $500, for example, or $1,000 as your limit, you could tell the bank, please hold this cash or the balance in my account against the card or the loan, the credit card or the loan that you are giving to me. In that way, as you use that credit card, you're actually using your own money because the bank has that security. And I recommend starting small because you're actually learning how to use a credit card. Tip number 3. Establish an excellent or a good credit history early. Why? A credit card is actually a test. The bank will give you a small amount, and if you pass that test by having a good credit history or an excellent one, the bank will be able to trust you enough in the future when you want to buy your first car, or when you want to buy or build your first home. So the test is this: if you are able to use a small limit very well, then when it comes to a bigger purchase, like I said before, a car or a house, then the bank can say, yes, we can approve you because you've done well with this small amount, or we can deny you because you did not use that small limit I was given to you properly. Another advantage of having a good credit history is that you have that ability to borrow at a lower interest rate. So if they test you with your first credit card and you do well, over time, when you apply for a bigger loan, the bank, in comparison with other borrowers, can approve you for a lower interest rate because the risk of your default is lower. Number 4, for a start, apply for a credit card with no annual fee, but with rewards. What does this help to do? When you apply and use a credit card with no annual fee, you can actually use your credit card for free. Remember, when you are approved for a credit card, there is usually an interest rate, sometimes 20%, it could be 25%, it could even be as high as 30%. There is also annual fee, some cases $50, $100, or $150 annual fee. There are also some credit cards that do not have annual fee. So for a start, for students and newcomers to Canada, I usually would recommend go for the one without an annual fee. Make sure you make your payment on time and in full. Again, you make your payment on time and in full, and because you don't have to pay an annual fee, you will use the bank's credit card for free, while at the same time you build a good or an excellent credit history. But look at the terms and conditions of those credit cards and what are associated rewards with it. So some cards have cashback rewards. Some cards gives you points which you can use for travel and for other things. Like you can redeem those rewards to pay back the balance on your credit card or to pay back the balance on other loans. So go for credit card that do not have annual fees, but they have reward. Number 6, avoid having a bad credit. We've been talking about how to build a good credit or an excellent one. But a credit card can also help you to build a bad history. And how will this happen? This will happen if you do not make at least the minimum payment and on time. And remember, I said that a credit card is a test of your trust. It's a test if the bank can trust you enough to give you a bigger loan in the future. So to avoid a bad history, please pay your credit card on time and in full. And if you are not able to pay the balance in full, at least make the minimum payment. If you do make the minimum payment and on time, your credit history will still be protected. It will not be damaged. I hope this is clear, because this is very, very important. You can have a good history. You can also have a bad credit history. We want to avoid the bad one. Do not spend the funds that you do not have. Remember, by the definition of a credit card, you have the ability to spend now and pay later. But be cautious of the fact that the money you are spending now is not yours. You are not spending your cash. You are not spending the balance in your bank account. So, be cautious. Do I have the ability to pay back? In fact, what you can do is to ask yourself, do I have the cash right now to make this purchase? Either the physical cash or the balance in your bank account. If the answer is no, then don't. Next, protect your credit card and your PIN. Protect your credit card and your PIN. Especially for young ones and newcomers to any country. Fraud happens everywhere and anytime. It doesn't matter the country, and it also does not matter where. It can happen anywhere. We have to be cautious of that. Do not share your credit card with your friends and even your family members. And also do not share your PIN. So your PIN is what you use to verify your identity, to show the true, if you are the true owner of that card. Do not share it. If your credit card is missing or stolen, immediately report to your bank or your financial institution. Do not wait. Do it immediately. And they will be able to help you to give direction on how to protect the funds in that card. Next, avoid the temptation of having too many cards. I've actually seen someone who had 16 credit cards. And I asked him, why? Why do you have so many cards? And he said, lucky I'm new to Canada. I just wanted to find a way to build my credit history on time. That is not correct. It is not the number of cards or transactions that you make that will help you to build your credit history. What matters is the quality of your card and how you are able to make payment. The danger of having too many cards, in this case, this guy had 16 cards, is that you will run into trouble. So instead of building a good credit history, you will actually build a bad one because you cannot meet up your payments. And you also run into the debt trap of spending money that does not actually belong to you. So that means that the more credit cards you have, the more you are able to build your credit history on time is not correct. So my recommendation for students or for those who are turning 18 or just turned 18 is that you should go for only one credit card. And for newcomers to a country, I usually would recommend that you have a maximum of 2 credit cards. In fact, I would say 1, but if you must have more than 1, because sometimes some people want to use a credit card with a higher limit to pay for goods and services in person, and when they want to make online payment from vendors or stores or people they don't know or trust, then they can have another credit card with a small limit. That is perfectly fine, but not more than 2. Next, beware of the debt trap of credit card. Credit card is actually a test. It's a trusting. Can I trust you enough with this limit so that I can evaluate in the future when you apply for a bigger loan or limit? That's the question that the bank tries to answer. So it's a trusting. But it's also a trap. For example, I mentioned a friend that had 16 credit cards. There is a tendency that he's going to run into debt. So beware of that trap and don't fall into it by using your credit card wisely. Next, avoid the temptation to buy on impulse simply because you have the ability to buy goods and services now and pay later. How do we avoid this temptation? The first way is to ask yourself, if I were to use cash or the balance in my bank account, will I have made this purchase? Again, if the answer is no, do not make that purchase. We've talked about budget. Use it. Budget your spending. Don't use the card just because you have the ability to use it. And finally, periodically check your credit score for free. There are 2 types. You could pay and get your credit score. You could actually check for free by using the facilities which have been provided by your bank or your financial institution. Call them. Go online and check. I want to know my credit score, but I don't want to pay. They will show you how you could check for free. Why will you check? You have to check your credit score because we have mentioned before that credit card is prone to fraud. Now, if you check your credit score, you have to look at the detailed transactions. For example, how many inquiries do you have in your credit report? What are the kind of credit facilities that you have? How many credit cards do you have? These are some of the things that you could see in your credit report. And if you are not familiar with any inquiry, you are not familiar with any type of loan or anything in your credit report, even as simple as your age or the spelling of your name, if you are not familiar with, with any of those transactions or details in your credit report, ask questions, investigate, and report to your bank or your financial institution or the credit bureau. We have to stop here now, but before we do so, I just want to re-emphasize this. So for newcomers to Canada and also for our students, if you did not learn anything today, I want you to remember this. You can use a credit card for free by applying for a card with no annual fee by ensuring that you pay on time and in full. You can check the details in your bank statement, credit card statement, when your payment is due. You could set auto reminder to yourself and make sure you pay on time and in full. And in that way, you can use your credit card for free, while at the same time you build a good or an excellent credit history. That's it for now. But before we go, a quick reminder to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also like, share my videos to your families and friends so that they can also benefit from the financial education that we are sharing together. I also appeal to you that if there are topics that you want me to discuss in subsequent videos, feel free to put those suggested topics in the comment section. In our next presentation, we'll discuss some top smart financial goals that you can achieve in your 20s. Until then, thank you, merci beaucoup, and bye for now.